What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Drew IQ. Welcome to another episode of Winners Win Finance. Today we're going to be talking about the mindset behind a winner. 7 little tips that I use on a daily basis to make sure that I have a winning mindset. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, like button, comment below, and let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so let's talk about the first tip I have for the mindset of a winner. And I think by far it is the most important thing to keep in mind as a winner is that we never blame anyone else. We never blame any other, teammates. We take full responsibility of all losses. Anytime we lose, it is our fault. We don't care how bad, Bob over here could have did better. He could have shot, a better, he could have, he could have passed the ball more. He could have did this more. He could have. We don't do that ever. Because winners do not, if anything, the reason why he was playing so bad, or why Bob or whoever it was playing so bad, is because I didn't teach him better. I didn't show him the way. So it is my fault. There is always something that a winner can do to bring their team to victory. I think in psychology it's called locus of control, right? Some people are externals, right? So instead of taking full responsibility for what's going on in their lives, they place the responsibility outside, externally. But when honestly, good or bad, highly successful people take full responsibility of every event in their lives, and as a result they take action to control their lives. So if you blame external things on your life and you say this is the reason why this happened, then you're looking outside, you're looking externally. Like, look internally for reasons why you could have made this better. Why did we lose? I didn't train my teammate better. He is so bad because I didn't teach him more. And I think this is the most important, piece when it comes to a winning mindset, is that we always take full responsibility. If we ever lose, it doesn't matter if it's a game, doesn't matter if we're just losing in life, if we're just losing, in this class, for failing, we take full responsibility of it. We do not blame anything externally. It doesn't matter if this person, this thing, this event happened. It just doesn't matter, and that kind of leads us on to our second thing, and let's go ahead and talk about that. I'll go ahead and do a little break here. Evan, hit him with the... Alright guys, so our second tip for having a winning mindset is very similar to our first tip because it involves that first tip, and that is going to be being a leader. And one of the most important things when you are a leader is taking that full responsibility, like we were talking about in our first tip, but genuinely being a leader. And there's so much to being a leader. This could be a whole other video, so put a comment below if you want me to make another video. But being a leadership, or showing leadership and being a leader really involves effective communication. Can you communicate well to others? That's very important, very important. If you know me, you know that I'm very big on being able to communicate, being able to network with other people. It's very important. You think about not only taking responsibility, you think about being accountable as a winner and as a leader, right? If we're being a leader, you got to take accountability for everything you do. You're going to be more of a long-term thinker. If you're a leader, you're thinking more long-term. Like, we can win this if we just do this, and this right on the short term. But long-term, if we do these things right, we're going to win. It doesn't matter if we have a couple failures here, we have a couple failures there, because we are long-term minded. So I think that's very important when you're talking about leaders. Another thing is, I think leaders are very self-motivated. We don't, have to look for a class, or we don't have to have a professor or someone to make us motivated, to teach us, because we are self-motivated. We learn ourselves. If we want to learn something, we're going to go Google it. We're going to learn because we are so self-motivated that we can't wait to go to a class. That's too long. We don't want to go learn some shit. We don't want to sign up because we need to learn it now. We are so self-motivated that we need to learn it now, that we're going to go on Google and learn it this instant. We're not going to wait at all. So I think that's very important. Another thing is, confidence. We're talking about being a leader. The second tip, being a leader, you have to be confident to be a leader. And I think confidence, where does it come from? This can also be a whole other video I'll go into maybe at some point, but confidence, right? Where do you get where do you get this confidence? And I think confidence is built from just doing, whatever your skill is a lot, and a lot of practice. You need to just practice whatever you want to be good at, many hours. For example, YouTube, I sit here in front of this video for many hours trying to get better, and I'm still not the best, but I'm getting better every time I do it, right? So being a leader is, having that confidence, being people oriented, like we were talking about earlier, being able to communicate. And lastly, you have to be emotionally stable. A true leader and winner, that has that mindset is going to be someone that is very emotionally stable. He's not going to sweat, some BS, if you will, over here. He's just going to let it slide because he's so emotionally stable that he knows, to be honest, shit happens, right? Shit happens in life. But I'm not going to let it affect me. You're going to have a lot of bad things that happen, emotionally, and you can, really make the worst of it, just make it a huge deal, cry, this, that, or the other. But people that are truly emotionally stable are optimists, right? They can look over here and be like, but this is happening. I'm doing this over here so well that, all this other stuff doesn't really matter. All right, and I know this was, a very long tip, but maybe this is something, like I said earlier, I'll have a whole other video for it, but just be a true leader. If you want to have the winning mindset, you need to be a leader. You got to have those leadership qualities. So go ahead, look that up. Maybe I'll do some more videos on this later. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Let's get on to our third tip that I have for a winning mindset. All right, guys, so the third tip for a winning mindset, kind of leads off that second tip where I'm kind of talking about being more optimistic, right? Excuses are for losers, and that is just it. True winners are optimistic. We always think there is a solution, right? If I hear someone tell me an excuse for something, I don't care what it is, I immediately label them as a loser, and I do not want to associate around this loser because winners like to be around winners, right? I think there's a famous quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, "He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else." And basically, how I take that is if you're really good at making excuses, you're just gonna make an excuse for everything because it's easier, right? When something's easier, a lot of people are gonna lean towards that. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't do this because I had this going on, or I was sick. I was so sick I couldn't study." A true winner does not care. We just do not care. We're going to, it doesn't matter if we're sick, it doesn't matter what's going on. We just lost someone in our family, something horrible just happened, we're gonna find a way. We look for solutions, right? Real winners always find a solution and never use an excuse as to why they can't do anything. Because that's another thing. There's nothing we can't do, right? We're always optimistic. We're so optimistic that we think that we can do anything, right? If there is an excuse that someone says and they call it realistic, we're going to call that excuse stupid because excuses just don't exist in our world, right? If you're using an excuse, you're probably a loser. Let's be honest, right? Whenever I use excuses, because I've honestly used a lot of excuses in my life before, it was just because I didn't want to be honest with myself, right? That's a whole other thing. Are you honest with yourself, right? Are you reflecting and looking back like, damn, am I making excuses here? Or is this an actual thing? Most times, if not always, you're making an excuse. Because like I said, real winners do not make excuses. I know I'm harping on this one, but this one really irritates me. I have, people, friends, family that constantly say they can't do this. They can't do this because of this. They can't do this because of that. The truth of the matter is perspective, right? There's always someone out there that has probably been a worse situation than you, and they got through it. So you're gonna be just fine. Never use an excuse. If you use an excuse, go ahead, unsubscribe, because you're just not a winner. And that's just the truth of the matter. So I know this is a hard tip and I'm really harping on it, but it is probably one of the biggest ones to having a winning mentality. We just do not care about excuses. I'm going to exhaust every excuse out of you, because if you're going to give me one, go ahead and tell me it, because I don't care. Let's go ahead and move on to our fourth tip today. Alright guys, so the fourth tip for having a winning mindset is kind of, leading off our last tip. I love how, each tip is kind of leading to the next one. It's almost like I'm doing this on purpose. But that tip is going to be, we never say the words, I can't. It just does not exist in our vocabulary, There's so many people out there that they just always use this, like, I can't mentality. I can't, cause this, why, because this, why. It's just so toxic. And a true winner, like I said on this last tip, is that we're solution focused. The word I can't just doesn't even like come into our heads because we're so crazy optimistic, like we said in our last tip, that we do not believe there's anything that we can't do. There's this one really famous, entrepreneur, his name I think is Art Williams. He has this speech called Just Do It, and that is literally all there is to this tip is just do it, you know what I mean? This gets us to our fifth tip today, and that is going to be take action. Are you taking action? Is there something, that you have in your life that you've just been procrastinating, that you haven't done, you want to do, but you're not doing it because you're not taking action? You shouldn't have to wait to do something, because a real winner is going to take action on it immediately. And if you look at a lot of winners in life, the true distinction between a winner and someone that's losing is a lot of these winners, they might not even be talented. They might not even be, the most skilled at their craft, but they're taking action. They're putting content out. Whatever their craft or their skill may be, they're executing. All right, so, we just went over, not saying I can't. We just went over, taking action. Let's get into our next tip. That next tip is going to be kind of going back to our second tip when we were talking about being a leader, is just staying motivated. This whole thing of having to be motivated is just for losers, because a true winner is going to stay motivated. You have to want it enough, If you're not motivated, I'm sorry personally, that just means you don't want it enough, okay? Whenever I was really unmotivated and I didn't want to do something, most times I was just really comfortable. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life where I felt maybe even privileged, I didn't want to do anything. And then I got a certain point in my life where I had to do something. I had to take action because I was so unmotivated and I just didn't want to do anything. But it was my fault, and it's because I didn't want it enough. But we don't seek external, right? Going back to some of our earlier tips, because we are self-motivators. We are leaders, right? So staying motivated is another excuse that we're just not going to use, because we don't use excuses, right? True winners are going to find ways to stay motivated because they want it so bad. They want it more than anyone else. And this is something that I truly just relate to. I love this tip. I hope y'all do too. Alright guys, so the last tip we have today is going to be literally winners always are learning and improving. That simple, right? A winner is very more likely to look towards more feedback, and whenever he fails, he doesn't really look at it like, that was a failure. What he does when he fails is he analyzes his failure and says, why did, this not end up as I wanted it? Like, why did I fail in this situation? He's going to analyze his failures, and he's going to learn from each failure as he keeps improving. A lot of losers in life, they stop learning. They don't even really want to improve. Like, a lot of people stagnate. They get comfortable. They want to get to a certain place, and they get so comfortable where they don't really care about learning. They don't really even care about improving. So if you're not always learning, you're not always improving, then you're just not clarified to me as a winner. Someone who's truly always winning is going to be someone that is always learning, always trying to be better. It's just as simple as that. When you look at a lot of other winners out there, they're never going to make an excuse. If they fail, they're just going to be like, what, yeah, I failed there, but this is what I learned from it, right? They're going to be more optimistic, look at that positive side of things like we were talking about earlier. It's just a part of being a winner is that we always are going to learn, and we're always going to try and improve. No matter, if things really end out so bad and turn out just to be super embarrassing, we're going to take it in, and we're going to be like, that sucked. But you know what? It was awesome because I learned this from it. I look back at it and I laugh, you know, I laugh. Like, true winners laugh at their failures. They look back and like, I could have done this only if I knew this now, like I know now, and this, that, or the other. It's really something that I think a lot of losers struggle with for whatever it is, you know. They don't have that self-motivation to want to keep learning. They don't want to keep improving. They get real stagnant and they're happy with that. And, you know, it's okay. If you're happy with, you know, being comfortable and just staying the same for the rest of your life, that's fine. That's cool. You do that, you know. But a true winner and someone that really wants to win and is self-motivated is going to constantly improve and always try to better themselves. So, you know I'm harping on this one a lot, but it's something that is just so simple that I shouldn't even have to talk about. But I see so many people out there that are losers, that make excuses, that say I can't. This is one of their biggest problems, is that they never improve because they never try to learn. You know, it's so sad. One of the best things I ever did in my life was I invested in myself, and I took a lot of classes. You know, I tried to learn as much as I can on YouTube. I learned so much that it didn't take long for me to start earning, you know, more money and becoming wealthier, because knowledge is literally power. Like, I started learning so much that it was honestly only inevitable that I was going to do better. Keep learning, keep improving, guys. This is your boy Drew IQ. Make sure to like, subscribe, you know, leave a comment below. I can't wait to hear back from y'all. And this is probably one of my favorite videos that I've done. You know, if you have any other ideas, make sure you let me know about it below. And with that, go ahead, get out of here. We got to drink some White Claws, you know, maybe stream some Twitch. But I will go ahead and let y'all go with the rest of y'all's lives, and I hope y'all enjoy this. Peace out.